Hi folks, this is all the fruit. Today I had to finish my olive pickling experiment prematurely because tonight I'm leaving Germany. So I did a lot of things wrong when pickling those olives, and still the result is only partially a failure. I pickled two different types of olives together. Those are the bright green olives I got from a Turkish supermarket, which turned kind of dull green or even grayish brownish. And the dark elongated ones are the ones I foraged myself from an olive tree in a pot here in Heidelberg in Germany. I soak them in water like you are supposed to. Basically, the best way of making olives is putting them in a big cloth bag, tying this bag to a rope, throwing it into the sea, tying the rope to something on the coast, and waiting for a week or a couple weeks till the seawater leaches out all the bitterness from the fresh fruit and also pickles them. Well, since I did not have any nice and clean and wavy and salty sea around, I had to do what all the people who don't have this assets do. I had to leach them in tap water. So I leached those olives in tap water for 4 weeks, about 1 month, changing the water every day, and those for 3 weeks. And then I put them in very salty water, in brine, and kept them there only for 1 day. Basically, if you cut every olive, you don't need to leach them that long. The water enters the olives much faster. That works much better, but I was too lazy to cut them, so I had to change the water for 4 weeks. Also, what I realized, I thought that those olives they sold me for pickling are really good for pickling. Turns out they are horribly bitter. I guess they took some unripe oil variety and just used them for pickling and just sold them for pickling. Those black olives I picked myself, they were much better. Even on the tree, when I picked them, I could taste that they have some really nice flavor and not much bitterness. So basically, those have not been leached out long enough. 4 weeks obviously is not long enough for those. Those, I think even 2 weeks would have been enough. And also, I think 24 hours was not enough for pickling them in brine. Basically, you should do this maybe for, 48 hours a week. Some websites suggest a week. If you want to do it, just find some good recipe online. Now let's try them. Well, the color changed a lot during leaching out. As I said, all those greenish, brownish, grayish olives were bright green when I started. Now let's try one of the greenest ones. Too bitter. The bitterness is kind of interesting, like the bitterness of a grapefruit. Apart from that, it tastes like a green pickled olive. This one is a bit more mild, but still too bitter and still not salty enough. Yeah, 24 hours is definitely not enough for the brine to percolate everywhere into the olives. So those green olives, I would more or less consider them a failure. You could serve them to people as a novelty, homemade bitterish olives, but I would say they are inferior to what some Mediterranean housewife or farmer would achieve. Now, much more interesting, let's try the ripe olives I foraged myself here in Germany. Bland. Let's try another one. Bland. There's some nice olive flavor around them, but it's not very strong. Well, those which are not completely black, they were not completely ripe when I picked them. Now, the ones which are very dark brown to completely black, they were even more black when I picked them. So let's try those. That's nicer. The salt percolated much more easily into them, so they are saltier. They are soft, and they also have a very nice flavor of olive oil. Yeah. So basically, of all the olives I pickled, about 20% are a success. Funny enough, not the ones that were sold in the shop for pickling, but the ones I foraged on my own. Yeah, I've noticed a couple times that if they sell ornamental olives in Germany, part of them will be just wild olives or Olea star, but part of them will also be quite high quality pickling olives, like those here. Yeah. So the only good olives I managed to make were the ones which were completely ripe when I picked them. So they managed to get ripe in the German summer and made really nice pickled olives. Well, folks, if you want to pickle your own olives, nowadays you can find ornamental trees, usually in pots, even in cooler parts of Europe, or you can buy raw green olives in a Turkish or Arab supermarkets, but don't repeat my mistakes. Get a good recipe online, and yeah, write me in the comments what your experience with pickling olives was. Stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos. Well, starting tomorrow from the parks, gardens and supermarkets of the Canary Islands. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe.